So the Pixel 10 lineup is due some point in August. It's actually quite shocking to us that we have only just seen a leak of the upcoming design, and here's the kicker. It's basically going to be the same design again this year, but hold your horses. Let's get into the details before you go crazy in the comments. If you want more Pixel, then stick around by hitting that subscribe button. It really helps me out and you get notified when we talk about more of the products you love, like Android, Chrome, Pixel, plus much more. So yeah, thanks, and I'll speak to you in just a moment. So here we go. What you're looking at right now are supposed 3D CAD renders of the Pixel 10, the Pixel 10 Pro, and the Pixel 10 Pro XL. At least at the time of this video going live, there are no reputable renders of the Pixel 10 Pro Fold if you're wondering where that is, so maybe we'll see that later down the line. As you can see, there isn't a design overhaul here. In fact, you could probably show someone these images and they'd ask what has actually changed, if anything. I think in some ways that's a good thing. The design is great on the Pixel 9 series. It's basically been acclaimed by almost everyone. Plus, I know what you're going to say anyway. Most people keep their phone in a case 99.9% of the time. So the design, I've got to say, it doesn't matter all that much, especially if it's something that doesn't affect usability, as some phones do change to enhance or detract usability in certain areas of the design. So for all intents and purposes, it is the same phone. There are some little things to note here though, but let's get the dimensions out of the way first, because these are where some interesting changes have been made. So there's the smallest Pixel 10. This is going to measure in at 152.8 by 72 by 8.6 millimeters, which if anyone out there is eagle-eyed, you'll notice this is just 1 or 0.1 millimeters thicker than the base Pixel 9. It's the same height and the same width. The Pixel 10 Pro is exactly the same dimensions as the Pixel 10, so to reiterate that again, it's 152.8 by 72 by 8.6 millimeters. Google's going for the two exact same size devices this time around. Just one Pro, just one not Pro, and I really like this. I think this is great for usability. It means you can pick that Pro version if you want, and you're not actually diminishing your experience versus the size. The interesting thing here is that some changes to the base model have been made here, and they are mostly found around the camera system around the back of this device. At least according to these leaks, there is room in this section for an extra lens. Yes, you heard me correctly. The Pixel 10 looks like it might come with a triple camera setup on the base model. No word on the sensors on this setup as yet, but a dedicated telephoto would definitely be a welcome addition to the base Pixel 10 and something a lot of people have been crying out for a long time. How Google chooses to differentiate the telephoto from the Pro tier, which we always know the Pro tier comes with a dedicated telephoto, well, I think that's anyone's guess at this time. Personally, I see maybe a slightly lesser 3x optical zoom rather than a 5x. That could be one way to differentiate them. Alternatively, maybe Google might just say go all out and go with the 10x optical on the Pro this time around. I think personally this might help separate the camera systems a little bit more and give you a bit more bang for your buck if you do choose to upgrade to the Pro tier from the base model. The renders do show that the Pixel 10 Pro has the temperature sensor above the flash as well, that LED flash on the right side of it, which the Pixel 10 obviously lacks. It lacks this extra temperature sensor, and to be honest with you, I think maybe Google should maybe think about ditching the temperature sensor and that thermometer function altogether, unless it's negligible in terms of cost. I think it was a nice idea, but it's not exactly all that useful to most people, in my opinion. Let me know though in the comments section if you use it regularly. I'd be shocked if it's more than, say, 5% of the people with the Pixel 8 Pro or newer. So as for the Pixel 10 Pro XL, yes, there is an XL model here. It looks identical to the 9 Pro XL from this past year. However, the dimensions are actually slightly smaller on this model. The 10 Pro XL measures in at 162.7 by 76.6 by 8.5 millimeters, just 0.1 millimeters shorter than the Pixel 9 Pro XL. The original leak doesn't actually confirm any of the display sizes going to be used here, so we think it's highly likely they'll be the same display sizes once again. So to reiterate, the Pixel 10 and 10 Pro are likely going to come with 6.3-inch screens, while the 10 Pro XL will probably have that 6.8-inch screen again, and what great screens they were. So let's just see, or let's hope anyway, we get some improvements to the display tech used on these devices. I'd really love to see something like the S25 and S24 Ultra's anti-glare screens, but yeah, I'm holding out hope. We just don't have any information at this stage. We're also probably going to be working with similar battery sizes again here too, given the dimensions haven't changed, unless though Google decides that silicon carbon batteries are going to get slapped in. There's no word on that as yet, but to be honest, that could be enough of a reason, if Google does this, to upgrade for some people, as it allows for larger internal cells despite no diminishing or no actual size increases on these devices. The batteries are decent on the Pixel 9 series. Anyone out there who has one will probably know that, but longer battery life is always a really nice addition, and the TSMC fabricated Tensor G5 processor is an exciting one as well, mostly for the power efficiency, but there are some potential performance gains as well. If there's some huge performance gains, then we might actually have the perfect combination of power and lifespan that, let's be honest, not many Pixel phones have really offered since, what, the original Pixel, maybe the Pixel 2. Most of the time the battery's been a little bit but yeah, it is what it is with Pixel devices at this point in time. There is one change though that I think seems inconsequential at first, but could result in better audio quality. Yes, audio quality from the speakers. The SIM tray is moving from the bottom frame edge, which I really like the positioning of, to the top of the phone according to these renders, and that leaves room for what we can only assume is another speaker to the right of the USB-C port. I'm excited by this, as I think that the Pixel 9 speakers, well, they're decent, but they don't get particularly loud. I'm hoping for some decent audio oomph this time around, but we'll have to wait and see. But I'm excited. There are some minor changes here, but changes that probably going to make a difference nonetheless. Okay, I want to give my 2 cents as well here for a moment, because I think a lot of people will be looking at the lack of major design changes as a negative. Personally, I think it's really, really sensible. We probably don't need to see major changes year over year, and constantly evolving that design means we kind of stray away from what makes them almost a signature look with that Pixel camera bar. I think it makes sense as well for Google to do this, as it's trying to make inroads into Apple's almost insurmountable iPhone market share, and Apple doesn't like to make changes for the sake of making changes, in some ways to the detriment of the hardware. The benefit to that approach is that you have an instantly recognizable design right out the box each and every time, and I think that's probably what Google are trying to do, considering the Pixel 9 has been really well received. There's also another very important benefit that I don't necessarily think anyone has done before with a smartphone over the past few years, or at least in recent memory, the potential ability to reuse your old or existing cases with this new phone. It's not confirmed, but given that Google is trying to improve their eco-friendly, or at least the eco-friendly nature of their entire smartphone and hardware processes, plus they've made commitments to using recycled materials and parts in their devices, I think this could be huge for the accessory ecosystem. The tiny dimension adjustments, well, they're likely going to be inconsequential, and most cases will have a little bit of play or wiggle room for your phone to expand and contract and whatnot, which means in theory at least, we don't know for now, you could be able to use your Pixel 9 cases with the Pixel 10 and Pixel 10 cases with the Pixel 9, something that most people, well, at least if you want a refresh, there's another colour that comes available or has extras that you want, you're going to be able to do so. So yeah, I'm hoping that is the case. It looks like that from this point in time, but yeah, we don't know at this stage. Another point of contention I wanted to mention is whether the colours will match, but it sure looks like we're going to be using the same accessories once again. I'm all for this. I love the Pixel 9 cases. I would have loved them to have added MagSafe, but I hope they do this time around. Maybe the phone itself, giving a tiny bit thicker on the base model, means we'll get that MagSafe ability out of the box this time. I'm not sure at this stage, but again, it all looks good, even though there isn't much change. No details were shared on the colours of the lineup this time around. I'm hoping we do move away from those glossy side rails, but the renders definitely show that they're going to have some glossy side rails. Again, they're mock-ups, so it's hard to truly ascertain what's going to happen. I'm excited to see if they do this, if they do go down that matte rails, that route then across the entire lineup. I think it would make a really big difference. Let's get some other notables out of the way before we wrap up. The Pixel 10 series naturally is going to come with a Tensor G5 processor. It'll likely ship with Android 16, which that OS version is supposedly launching at some time in early June, given the timeframes that Google has publicly published. They'll ship with that latest OS this time around, but there are going to be some functions we're expecting out of the box. One of these is potentially Pixel Sense, which looks like Google's own take on Apple Intelligence by offering integrations with all your Google apps to provide what they're going to consider a truly personalized AI experience. I'm intrigued to see how this works and what it entails, but yeah, it seems interesting. Again, we don't know at this stage. The rest, well, considering just how early we ordinarily see Pixel leaks, it's surprising how little concrete information is out there right now. Usually things start to ramp up towards that launch time frame, which is slated for sometime in August to match that updated Pixel 9 launch cycle. So yeah, we're going to learn some more over the coming months. Rest assured, we will be updating you as much as possible. But tell me what you think. Is a reused or recycled design a good thing or a bad thing? Honestly, as I've said multiple times in this video, I think it's fine. You don't need to constantly change designs for the sake of changing, and Pixels have always been owned on their camera and software experience, which is two areas I'm actually hoping for some more enhancements once again this time around. Let me know what you think in the comment sections below. Thanks for watching, and I will speak to you later.